polyether ether ketone. This is very important because we're going to be talking about the actual VARI 3000 series. Now, this is a new speaker from Harbinger featuring tons and tons of new technology. And that just happens to be one of them, the polyether ether ketone, which we're going to explain exactly what that means, because of course that's what the peak in peak performance stands for when you look at the front of these speakers. There's also a lot of other great technology. We're going to cover all of that in today's video. We're also going to cover connectivity, how easy it is to connect your speakers and what options come in the back of this unit. We're also going to talk about the app, because this has a brand new app that they launched with the actual speaker, and it's going to be available not just on Apple, but also on Android devices, which is great because that's what I have. And we're also going to talk about the smart connectivity, which now extends itself to true wireless stereo Bluetooth connectivity. These are amazing features, all together making your life that much easier. We're going to show you how that works in the back of the speaker. And then we're going to finish it off by actually talking about who's going to want the speaker, because this market is big. There's lots of people out there who need power speakers, and there's lots of people who are going to fit right into this particular speaker right here. So we're going to talk about all the different ways you could use it and who's going to want to have it. All that in part of this video. I'm Robin. This is Expert Island, and we're talking about the Harbinger V3412. So let's start by talking about the first feature that I brought up, the polyether ether ketone, which stands for, well, that's kind of cool, peak, right? I mean, P-E-E-K, that's what it means, and that's how it describes itself. What is it exactly? Well, it has to do with the tweeter and the material. Polyether ether ketone is basically a plastic material, but it's a plastic material that you normally would see on rockets and airplanes and medical devices. It's technology that's above and beyond what we normally would see on a regular consumer. This is like next level technology. It's got incredible properties, flexible, yet holds under tension when pressure is applied to it. Also heat resistant. It can go really hot, like over 300 Celsius before distorting. And that's really important. When we're trying to make a better tweeter or tweeter horn, this is the material they're now looking at. It's going to take you probably above what you're seeing out there already. I know there's companies out there talking about all the different types of metals, titanium and aluminum and all that kind of stuff for their tweeters. But this is the next level. There's lots of companies who use soft dome and plastics and all kinds of stuff like that. But nobody right now that I could see is using peak to make their actual tweeters. This is very important because one of the big things I look at is in a studio or in a rehearsal space, a lot of times the speakers are on and you're using them. There's not 500 people around, and you can hear that hiss in the background. And depending on the style of speaker, that hiss can be pretty loud. And that's because you're predominantly hearing that right off the actual tweeter. It's very sharp and it's very noticeable. I like line arrays for that reason. Because their neodymium drivers are on top, you're not getting that sharpness from a metal tweeter like a titanium or an aluminum. So in this case, big sound difference. You can hear it when you stand next to it. The speaker is so much quieter and the actual highs are so much smoother when you play it. So that's really, really big deal with this particular speaker. So when they say that this is starting to get you to a point where you're going to feel comfortable with this being in any space, they mean it. It's really nice. I mean, I can tolerate this anywhere, including here in a very small space. So now let's talk about the main driver at the bottom. It's the XR transducer, which is a fancy word for a speaker. Why is it so special? Why does it work so well? Well, there's lots of engineering and technology. Lots of companies constantly are working to make their drivers better, and they've been doing a really, really good job. The idea is to limit the distortion movement in the driver so this way you get a good, clean reproduction in sound. You're going to notice this. You play this against anything else, you're going to hear that the bottom end on this speaker, and I'm talking about the mid bass, everything you can really, really take in, is going to be smooth. It's going to be smooth, without distortion, without fluctuation. And that's very important. You're going to hear that in a lot of other companies, but they're doing a great job at it too. And another really big feature they're introducing on the 3000 series is the cabinet itself. What's going on with the cabinet? Well, they've improved the manufacturing process of it. Now you think, okay, it's a mold. Well, it turns out that not all molds are created equal. Now, what they've been doing for the last few years, companies out there, again, in the high-end performance machined parts, is they're using what they call a gas-assisted injected molded process. This is to help actually get all the materials in all the little cracks and crevices all over the place. Now, this is also very important, so this way you can improve the design, because a lot of times you had to leave a lot of tolerance for error in the actual design, and that meant that the cabinets wouldn't always be consistent from one to the other. which also then would mean that performance and quality would not be consistent from one to the other. But now with the gas assisted injection molding, that's gone. Now they can make sure that it's consistent all the way around. The actual mix is going to be proper and balanced. The corners are going to be proper. The actual reinforced structures inside are going to be properly reinforced. And the overall design can be much better. What does that end up with? When you start adding all these features we're talking about, and later on we're going to talk about the app as well, you start blending that all together. You are looking at a speaker with the ability to be an FR/FR. So yes, it'll do all these other things really, really well, which we're going to cover. So they didn't mention it, but I will. Full frequency flat response is possible in standard mode with this speaker, which is a big deal because if you want to use this for your instruments, you want to make sure you get out of it what you put into it. This will be an option that you can do with this speaker here. So let's take a closer look at the back of the speaker so we can go over some of the actual input and connectivity options there are on the speaker. There's a lot of them, so we're going to cover them all for you in the next couple of minutes. So when we're looking at the back of the speaker, we're seeing a lot of features that combine both what they previously had and what they have in their 4000 series. We're going to have voice options, basically the way the speaker is going to acoustically set itself up. So we're going to have our standard, our club, our speech, even our floor model, which also means if you're going to put it on a wall bracket or have it tucked right up against the wall, that's a great setting. And then all the custom, because remember, this does come with an app. They also give you the subwoofer cutoff option. So you can set it up for an 18 or a 12, and they're making that in general reference to their models. It also has a preset hold to save option. So once you get this the way you want, you can use that and becomes the default go-to settings. Now it still has two main inputs, 1 and 2, which are going to be combo jacks for your mics, your guitars, or your line options. Combo jacks are great because they're balanced and unbalanced. So down on input number 3, this is where you're going to see your Bluetooth. You're going to see your 3.5. You're also going to see your left-right options. And if you want to have your mono connection, that'll be right there on the left channel. And why do we bother with having a mono if we have a left-right on one channel? Well, that has to do with the link capability. So this has smart link in and out options. So this way you can hook up a second speaker either in mono or in stereo. Also controlling the mixed output. Really important to have that option right there. Talking about the smart connectivity we've got here, that's going to bring us to our routing options. So again, here we're going to see our normal, our stereo, and our linked in. That's normally saved for the second speaker. On top, you're also going to see bass and treble controls, which again are really nice to have along with a limit light on it. All of that featured on the back of the speaker makes it really nice. Now you notice, unlike the 4000 series, there is no display on the back. Everything else is done on the app. The last plug we're going to find on the back is a USB port. This is a 5 volt, of course. 2100 milliamp. That's a 2.1. This is really nice. That means that if you have any type of, let's say, UHF wireless interface on the back of the speaker, so you can make these all wireless for broadcasting, you can use this to constant power that. Or maybe you're using a wireless microphone adapter. The same thing. You're worried about how long your batteries are going to last. Plug them in. You'll be able to do that with this speaker because you have a built-in charging option right there. So down below, we've got some great links for you. You're going to be able to go to Musician's Friend now. So if you like buying everything online, they're going to have the actual product for you there. So you can get your Harbinger speakers from Musician's Friend. Links down below. And if you'd like to go in person, but buy online first. So this way, if you need any technical support, maybe you drop by the store. Have a look at the other 3 links, which is Guitar Center. We also have Woodwind and Brasswind down below as well. And now we also have Music and Art. That's great. With all 4 of those links, you'll be able to find your favorite store you like to shop at and be able to take care of it, no problem. Now remember, if you buy online, that's how we get paid. Outside of that, there's no financial compensation outside of the fact that Harbinger was very nice to provide us with the speakers. So everything else is up to you. If you buy online, that'll help us out. So when we're talking about the app, this is what we've got. First thing it's going to want to do, of course, you need your Bluetooth on. It's going to find these speakers automatically. It's going to determine which ones are on. So it has found both of the speakers without me having to turn the Bluetooth on or anything like that. This is a data Bluetooth connection, so it doesn't matter. These speakers are ready to be connected and set up. So here we are. I can connect to this speaker here. I can confirm that I want to connect to that speaker. And this is going to bring us into the speaker settings. Here is the actual menu. This is what we're talking about. It's got basically a full EQ setup on it. We can choose the different settings and just automatically load those settings on the screen just like that. Very, very straightforward. You get your subwoofer controls. Anything that was digitally controlled on the back, which included turning on the Bluetooth and those kind of options, You can do that right from here, which is kind of cool that you get all those settings. Now you can customize it. So of course, let's just go over to custom app settings. Now remember, once you actually do this, the actual controls in the back of the speaker lock out and they're expected to be run through here. Now, this is now set as flat. I can play around with this all I want. It's not complicated. We're going to just engage it here by pressing the actual power button. So now this button is actually going to do something. It's going to respond to whatever this up here is. So I'm going to give this a subtle change. And now when I move this up and down, you see how it responds. It looks like that little chart up there. It's going to respond that way. Now, of course, if I can go to number 2, and now I can either leave it as an arch going up and down. See how it pulls on that? And I can smooth that. I'm not fixed to where I want to be. I can do whatever those adjustments need to be done. I can grab number 3 set up in the same direction, and I can pull that up nice and high. Now I got to engage it first because see, it's not being engaged. So let's engage that. And there we go. Because you can turn them off and on individually. So if I have number 3 and I turn it off, notice, see, it's gone. Number 3 is not doing anything anymore. Turn it back on. And now it's pulled back down. That's what's going on there. It's very nice, very easy to use. Now, of course, you still have bass and treble control. So I can turn up the bass and treble off to the sides, and it will modify the entire actual EQ just like that. Look at that. Is that not amazing how easy that is? Then when you're ready, this is active. This is happening all the time, real time, but you can load it as a saved option or save the options that are on the speaker by downloading them as well. And if you want to switch between speakers, by all means, you just press that actual little top broadcasting. I can disconnect from this speaker here, and then I can reconnect to the next one. Just connect to the first one because we already did the second one. And then I'm going to confirm that one as well. Now remember, I'm using this on an iPad because that's what we have right now. They are going to hopefully be out soon. So of course, look for the app options online. So this way you'll be able to find it no problem. And there we are. So here is the other speaker that we were playing with. 1, 2, 3, 4. Everything's all here. It's in the club mode showing me what's going on there. Again, I really like this. Nice and simple. You know, there's other functions like updating the app, stuff like that, but there's no updates necessary for it right now, so we're good. Everything's up to date. Everything's running really fine and dandy on here. You get your subwoofer crossover. There are options for your 12 and your 18. And then you also get your option here at the bottom for your routing options. So basically, how do you want to use your smart link? Right now it's in stereo. It could be in normal mono mode, or it can be in LinkedIn mode. And there you go. That's the app. And that really, really gives you a lot of benefit. Now, could you imagine standing in front of the house with the app, doing your sound adjustments all from here? That's really, really sweet. Now, you can do more if you get the V4100 series, so like the 4112 or the 4115. That's the next series up. You're going to get a little bit more in the app, but the same app is run for both. It responds based on what the speaker's technology can drive. So this is everything that's available on the actual 3412 and 3415s. So Harbinger's added 2 great features as part of the actual Smart Connect. One is going to be the Smart Link capability. That's what you see here, the link in, link out option. The second one is the actual Bluetooth with TWS, True Wireless Stereo. Both of these features are awesome, and it's nice to find them both on one speaker. Now with the link capability, if you plan on having microphones or you're going to be live interacting with the speaker with a controller or anything like that, you're going to definitely want to use your live connectivity. So how easy do we do this? So if this is our main speaker and this is our secondary speaker, we're going to actually come out through the link option here, out of our main speaker. We're going to go into our secondary speaker just like this, and we're going to plug that right into where it says linked in. It is that straightforward. So now all we need to do is tell the first speaker that we want to be in our actual stereo master. That means we're going to have a left and a right option here. So that's stereo. You can run it in mono if you want. So if you're doing a bigger setup, you can run it definitely mono, or if you're just plugging a mic in the one channel, you want to get that everywhere, by all means, run it in mono. But you get those options right here. So we're going to leave it in stereo. So when we come to our second speaker, all we need to do is press the actual routing option, go to LinkedIn. You'll notice that all the other lights go off because this guy's in charge now, and that speaker's ready to do whatever this speaker tells it to. I like that. So now we're going to talk about the Bluetooth, because this is just a great way and it works so well on these speakers. We're going to first just turn them on. And this is important because turning them on and off is, so if you're actually using an Elisha, no one's going to accidentally tap into your speakers through the Bluetooth because you'll be able to physically turn it off. grab your phone, then actually just turn on your Bluetooth and pair it off to it. It is that simple. You're going to see options there for your speaker. So of course I've been connected to it before. So the V3412 is going to be my choice. We're going to see this light stop blinking. Job is done. Now we go to the second speaker. Watch how simple this is. I'm going to turn the Bluetooth on. And what is going to happen is not just going to connect. These lights are going to turn green. Look at that. Magic. I didn't have to do that. It initiated that all on its own. This speaker found that it had a sister right next to it, and it decided to connect to it. So now these speakers are now connected through the true wireless stereo system. That easy, that quick. You couldn't ask for anything better. Great way to play music. If you need a backtrack for yourself, the Bluetooth connection here is 5.2 when it comes to version. So it's uncompressed. It's got good range. No worries there. Also, if you're a live band and you're playing or performing, you need to play music while you're at the bar taking a break. This is also a good way to make that happen. There's lots of good reasons to have Bluetooth, and I just think it makes life so much simpler to have it not just on one speaker, but wirelessly connect up to both. Some companies have given you this option, but they haven't given you the true wireless stereo connectivity that you see here. Now remember, we don't normally want to operate over 100 dBs in front of people. I mean, a lot of places have limits now, and that's the limit. That's really loud for anybody in the audience to actually listen to. So having a maximum of 128, a peak of 128, that's really good. Now, that means that we're going to get a reasonable amount of volume, loud, like I can't talk to the person next to me loud, right there at about 6 feet. Now, as you go further, they're 12-inch, so they're going to be tapered. It's going to be dropping off, so you do want to mount them high if you've got a lot of people in front of you. So a lot of people look at these speakers and ask, how many people can I use it for an actual wedding or a party? Now, if you're a DJ, think about how many people are on the dance floor. If you're doing a live band at a wedding, think again, how many people are going to be on the dance floor in front of you? If you've got 50 to 60 people on the dance floor, these are mounted on stands high with subwoofers in front of them. You can easily do 50 to 60 there. It'll carry a space for a PA because a lot of times people just need them for talking, background music, that sort of thing the rest of the night and before. So this is going to do a great job for all of that. You can have 200-300 people there, and that's fine. You got to think about when you're going to turn up at 9 o'clock, how much more you need to pump through these speakers. And that's when you start having to think about, is these speakers going to be sufficient for all of that? And that's why there's always more expensive ones. Even they have their 4000 series, which is again, is a more powerful series than this. So the options are there for you. So you always got to make sure you feel comfortable with what you're buying. With that being said, yes, I think bands will enjoy using this. I do think this can be used for rehearsal at the same time because you do get the ability to set it up as an FR/FR and you're going to really enjoy the sound out of it. The box in close proximity gives great stereo effect when you have two speakers. So if I have two of them set up here, because of the actual quality of the box now, the box is so good that we're not going to get a lot of cob effect. That's radiating sound off the box. So they're going to sound really clean and very steady coming right apart. So you're going to get good stereo separation for close-up setups. That's really important when you're setting up in a bar where people are really close to you, where you get to spread your speakers out a bit for better sound acoustics. Line up all the subs right in front of you, but definitely if you want to play and set up your mixer so this way you have a little bit of left to right separation in sound, so this way it sounds richer and fuller, better for a live setup. These are some really good speakers to do that with. So I'm going to run a little bit of music through it and show you what it can do. Again, very clean, very pure. Of course, you're watching this on your phone, and of course, it's not a great representation of what you're going to hear, but it's a good place to start. We're going to have a lot of other great videos, not just on these speakers, but on the 15-inch, the subwoofer, all part of the same lineup, all part of the new generation of Harbinger speakers. Once again, new line of product. These guys are racing to get out there and bring you new and better and more exciting products. Unlike a lot of companies who have been sitting on the same products for 6, 7, 8 years. And are very slow to cycle through their product line. These guys are doing leaps and bounds. You know, they've seen product turnover every 2-3 years, and they brought you something new and exciting. So that's really, really nice. So if you heard it before and you haven't heard it since, it's time to go back into the store and take a listen to it. So don't forget, now's always a good time to hit that like button if you haven't done it already, and also leave a comment down below. If you haven't subscribed yet, now's a good time. The clock's running out, and you can also watch our next video. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.